Let me grab TikTok on the line. I got a new and improved stand here. So let's grab that. Let's grab that. No, not YouTube. TikTok.
I actually love this question.
TikTok. Oh, did I have an interesting morning on TikTok? Another day in the struggle. Another day in the struggle. Another day in the struggle. Rappers. Gangster rappers. And they'll tell you that is American culture. American culture is gangster rap. They'll tell you that's what hip hop is. Because those are the people they elevated. Homeschool. Homeschool Garden and Homestead, we'll call it. Hey, YouTube, just grabbing TikTok, and we are. Let's give a countdown. Let's give a countdown. 3, 2, 1. We are live. Hello, TikTok. You are joined by myself and YouTube, and it is a beautiful day here in the sunny South. I'm in a great mood because over the weekend I got surprise word from my mother that she had just booked a flight and she was coming to visit me in the South. So this is the first time my mother's been here. I picked her up yesterday and I couldn't be happier about it. I have so much to show her over the next week, and I'm just in an all-around good mood. But that's not the only reason I'm in a good mood, because for anyone that's familiar with me, you know that I am very, very, very passionate about educating the next generation right. And the reason for that is things change when you're a parent. And when I became a parent and I looked into the eyes of my son for the first time, I'll never forget the first time I saw him. And I met my daughter a few years later. I knew that I wanted the world to be a better place. And the best way for me to ensure that they have the future they want is to make sure they have as many allies in this world as they possibly can. And in doing that, hey, Foster Bear, we have built an amazing homeschooling community of mothers and fathers. And the best part about it is when you get into this type of crowd, when you get into the homeschool, homestead, gardening, Christian type crowd, the homeschools connected type crowd, I mean, you get these people with not one, not two, not three, not 4, 5, 6, 7, but we have multiple people with 11 children. People that absolutely crush. You'll have people tell you, single parents, they can't homeschool their children. Well, I know single mothers with 5 children, and not now, with 5 children, and my God, they managed to do it. So yes, it can be done. And one of the ways I love to educate children, and I'll go through everything here, is through unschooling, through project-based. This would actually be project-based learning. And gardening is a great way to do that. That's why I always say a homestead is the best place to educate a child, because there's so much to do. There's so much work to be done. There's greenhouses to be built, garden boxes to be constructed, chicken coops to be constructed, animal identification, plant identification. I mean, there's just so much that children can do in that environment. But the truth of the matter is you can replicate that environment in your home no matter where you live, even if you live in an urban setting. So let me tell you about what we've done, and then I'll go through everything we've been doing so far and what we're doing this week, which I'm really excited about. Every week I try to I work really hard to make sure that there's new exciting projects for the children, stuff where they can really do a lot of hands-on learning, learning in context, right? You talk about public school, everything's out of context. Hey, little Johnny, calculate surface area. Here, I wrote a paragraph, calculate some surface area. It doesn't mean anything to Johnny, right? Well, we're going to talk about how to teach that in context. You caught my attention. I'm a grade 8 and 9 teacher, but I have never thought of doing this. Well, let me talk about what we've done so far, and then you could actually replicate this in your school, which I would be more than happy to help you with if you have any questions. So we started out with it's a year-long nature unit study, and yeah, the children looked into geography, and they studied the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains and the Mississippi River, but then you got to get hands-on. So we taught them all about the different types of maps, making map keys, about topography and all that type of stuff. And then what we did is this is where we start the project-based learning. And as a concept, by the way, if you understand this as a concept, as a teacher or as a parent, this is very powerful stuff, right? So what we did is said, okay, we're going to do a year-long nature unit study. So we had the children actually map out the property in which they live. Now, that looks different for every child, right? For some children, that will be wide open nature. For some children, that will be an apartment building, and that's okay. Just map out the property where you live. Then we had them do this first. Determine which direction is north, which direction is east, southwest, right? So they can draw their property facing the proper direction. So they mapped out their properties, and then we had them spend a day tracking the sun clock. What's the sun clock? Most of us were adults, never heard of the sun clock. Well, if you go up and you look in the sky, right? If you're familiar enough with the sun, it will actually tell you, based on the time of year, what time of day it is, right? And you can get a sense of your relationship to where the celestial bodies are. I mean, think about how many adults don't know this stuff, yet children should be taught this. So the children took their maps, and they went outside at 8 a.m. And they said, okay, the sun is over the east side of where I live, right? And then they take their map and they draw a little picture of sun right over the east. And then they check it 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., all the way to sunset, where the sun will set in the west. And after one day, they now know the sun's location over their yard, right? Over their yard. It changes a little bit, but pretty much for the rest of the year. So we had the students do this. Then based on that map, we said, okay, you're going to be doing a garden this year. Well, based on where the sun is in relation to your property, what is the best location for your garden? Now, for some students, that'll be out in a big field. For some students, that will be, I have an apartment window, right? How do we get your books into schools? I don't think my books would be too popular with the Department of Education, unfortunately. But that's all right. That's why there's a need for what I do. Like, that's why I started doing what I do. So for some students, that's an apartment window, right? That's fine. That's fine. So they picked the best garden location, and then we had them do all types of fun stuff. So we had the students make their own compost, right? And again, they could do this on a bigger scale. I really appreciate that, by the way. They could make their own compost on a bigger scale. You're splattering me with nickels, and I like it. They could make their own compost on a bigger scale, or they could do it as simple as just in a little container, Coca-Cola container, right? You put some dirt in it, you put some cardboard in it, you put some kitchen scraps, and you take care of it. So we had children make their own compost. We had them capture worms and use worms for their compost, like a lot of really cool stuff. We studied the process of photosynthesis so that they could understand what they're doing with their gardening. We did a lot of research into soil biology, like around the compost. So like the students learned about the different bacterias and the different fungus that go into the soil, right? So everything's in context because the students understand why they're learning this stuff. They're like, oh, okay, so healthy soil makes healthy plants. We had our students study actually how to identify nutrient deficiencies in the soil by speaking the language of plants. What is the language of plants? Well, if you could do a Google search, type in nutrient deficiencies in plant leaves, and pictures will come up, right? And based on the coloration and the texture and the feel and the look of plant leaves, you could actually determine, okay, this plant doesn't have enough nitrogen. right? So the students could actually say, oh, okay, so there must be a nitrogen deficiency within the soil. So we had them study that. We had the students make their own fertilizers with bananas, real cool projects where they, where you basically take banana peels, you put them in water for a few days, and then the calcium and stuff from the banana, the potassium, leaks out into the water, and you water the plants with that, right? And then we did more complex stuff where they actually cook the banana peels, grind it up after it's cooked, and make it into like a long-term fertilizer. We did that. We had them plant seeds inside, right, which is great, and we had them make little greenhouses, right? We had them make little greenhouses, basically with just plastic cups. So we had them do all that, and then we got into the really exciting stuff. So what we did is, based on the maps that the children made, because they had chosen the best garden locations, we had the students actually construct their own garden boxes. Hands-on learning activities where they're actually learning the basics of carpentry, right? I mean, they're getting 2x4s. They're having the 2x4s cut at Home Depot, or their parents are assisting them to cut the 2x4s. Never do any of this stuff. Allow your children to do any of this stuff alone, right? You're dealing with tools. It's dangerous. Disclaimer, right? By the way, I'm going to go back and answer all your questions. I just like to get through this, and then I go back and answer the questions. So we had them construct their own garden boxes, and this week we're actually going to have the students transfer, if they haven't already, but we're going to have them transfer their seedlings out into the garden. But either way, what we're also going to have them do this week is they're going to measure the length and the width of their garden, or their garden box, or whatever it is they have. And they will then calculate the surface area they have available to them in their garden box. And then with that calculation, they could actually plan out where they're going to plant each plant within that garden box, right? And so they're going to calculate the surface area. Then we're going to have them learn to draw to scale. And we've been doing a lot of work within this unit study with artwork and drawing. A lot of work. And our students are doing some really good stuff. So we're going to have them draw their garden box to scale, map out where they're going to put the tomatoes, where they're going to put the cucumbers, whatever it is they're planting, right? And then they're learning to draw to scale. They are learning how to calculate surface area. And then the last thing we're doing this week, which I'm really excited about, my wife has actually been putting together a game for this. The students will be studying the type of bugs or pests that they're going to have to battle with over the course of the summer that will try to eat their crops. So they're going to learn what aphids are and all the different types of garden pests that people have to be aware of. And my wife's putting together a fun game. We'll have it out tomorrow. And from there, that will set us up for the next few weeks where we actually teach students how to combat those pests and do it hands-on. How to take precautions, how to get the type of wildlife, the type of bugs you want in your garden, right? You could plant certain type of plants and it will actually attract the type of bugs you want because they eat the aphids and the other bugs that try to eat your plants, right? So these are all great life skills. They're getting a really in-depth understanding of biodiversity, in a garden, biodiversity in, the circle of life, the food circle, the food chain, what makes healthy soil, where the minerals and the nutrients, people say, oh, eat your vegetables, eat your fruits and vegetables, right? Well, where do those nutrients and minerals come from, right? You get them from the bacteria's decomposing organic material, plants, bugs. The minerals and the vitamins are then in the bacteria. And then when the bacteria die themselves or they are eaten by other animals, those minerals and nutrients are released into the soil. And then fungus, actually a fungus that attach themselves to the roots of your plants, and this is what the students are learning. The fungus actually absorb the minerals, help the plants absorb the minerals. So without the fungus, we wouldn't have those minerals and nutrients and vitamins. Bacteria, fungus, so important. So then the plants The plants absorb. Our daughter is learning this in our homestead. This is very important to the next generation. Yes, it is. So then the plants, they absorb these nutrients and then we eat them, right? And then we have them in our bodies. So they're learning how the food cycle really operates and how to grow their own food and do it in a way that is organic, that is natural, that is good for the environment. So don't ever let anyone tell you that I'm not an environmentalist, because they would say I'm not, but I absolutely preach organic farming. I practice it. I'm very much against littering. I'm very much so. Again, a lot of people talk, but it's about actions, right? It's about how you live your life, right? And these people would tell you that I'm the bad man. I agree. My daughter just turned 2 at the end of January, and she is helping me in the garden. Yeah, and 2 is a great age to. 1 is a great age to start. Honestly, like, get on that. Gardening is a great early childhood activity. But then with our nature unit study, I really like to point out that it is a unit study, and I need to talk more about unit studies on my channels, because people need to understand there is a power to unit studies. Because what that means is you could study every subject, right? In a unit study, you could calculate surface area. You can draw it to scale. You could learn math, right? You could learn calculation. You could learn art, drawing to scale. You could learn one of the things the students have been doing throughout the course of this unit study is they've actually been making videos of what they're doing, little short 1-minute videos of each step, not every step, but some of the steps. And at the end of the year, they could put everything together and they could have kind of a little documentary of what they did over the course of the year with the unit study, which is a really cool thing. But think about the skill they're learning in that. Think about videography. Think about the world we live in and what a powerful skill videography is. This is a video world, and it is a short form video world. And people that have become proficient in the art of making videos open up a lot of opportunities for themselves, right? So our students are learning all of these things. They're studying photography through the nature unit study. Hey Tiff Gog, they've actually been taking photographs of the sun, right? So they've been learning how to take proper photographs with the sunset behind you, how to frame the object of your photograph properly so that really pops off the screen, how to set up your background. All of this done within a nature unit study that we're doing. And parents really don't sleep on unit studies. They are very powerful, and there's a lot of great homeschool companies that do unit studies. Obviously, what I do through Homeschools Connected, I'm talking about our unit study. Another unit study company I really like is the Campfire curriculums, which are really cool. They've really grown on me, these Campfire curriculums, which allow you to study multiple things through one continuous study, which is such a powerful thing. So anyone interested in what we're doing, and we're doing a lot more than that, by the way, but that's www.classicallearner.com. You'll see Homeschools Connected. Use the promotion code FREEDOM, all lowercase, and it's $10 a month for a membership to what we do. And you can see a lot of my members right here in the chat, crushing. I'm going to go back. I'm going to answer some of your questions. I only talk about homeschooling education here. I do not deviate. I've determined that on TikTok, it is not advantageous to me to talk about that other stuff, so I won't. But afterwards, I'll probably drop TikTok, go over to YouTube a little bit, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the fun weekend I had with my boy and my mom being here. I actually saw my mom over there during the stream and put a big smile on my face. I haven't seen my mother since October, as I live across the country from her right now. Unfortunately, although allegedly could it be she might just be making the move. So anyway. Sorry. All right. The hands-on part are the skills lacking. Yeah, right, because in schools they're not teaching the hands-on learning and they're not teaching skills. So when you talk about, here are my three main, the criterion, my three main points of what a worthy education includes. And obviously there's more to it than this, but in general, you want your children to have a master's degree in the process of learning and critical thinking over memorization, which is what schools prioritize. You want to prioritize skill development, construction, engineering, computer coding, art, music, photography, videography, because it only takes one skill to free a man. If you have a skill that you could fall back on when your employer tries to make you do things you're uncomfortable with, you have the confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to go do something else. But so many people, especially because they lack financial literacy, or maybe they're just their circumstances where they have a lot of debt, they just feel like they get trapped, right? They feel like they can't do anything else, and they get stuck doing something they hate. Well, if your children have skills and critical thinking faculties, they'll have stuff to fall back on. And then the third thing is entrepreneurial experience. Schools are not getting children the entrepreneurial experience that they deserve. And in our homeschool community, our members actually call it the rule of 6, in that every 6 months, every semester, we make sure that our children do at least one thing that's entrepreneurial. And that could be very basic. That could start with a lemonade stand, right? We don't have to reinvent the wheel when they're young. As they get older, we'll start to add complexity to the things they do. But you're developing a mindset. You're getting them experience, taking a service, taking a product, bringing it to market, marketing that product, selling that product, managing money, right? The experience they're developing, the mindset they're developing is worth more than even the education itself. They will carry that with them their entire lives, and that is such a powerful thing. And one of the benefits of what I'm doing with Homeschools Connected is because we have a primary chat, which is a running conversation with me and all of the homeschool mothers and fathers, and we talk about the things we're doing, so everyone's bouncing ideas off each other. We actually have little groups where we have groups of children that are specifically interested in clothing design, where the parents are bouncing ideas off of each other. And I have private messages where the parents can inbox me at any time, and I'm basically coaching people on how to do this type of unschooling one-on-one within our community. And it's a really it's been a really cool thing. We have a lot of students doing some really cool stuff, and it's very exciting. Hello, I've been desperately trying to figure out how to homeschool my daughter, but my state. So I don't know what the rest of your statement was, but go to hslda.org, Homeschool Legal Defense Association.org, HSLDA, HSLDA, HSLDA.org. You'll scroll down. Actually, if you visit the TikTok page, I made a new page the other day, at Real Brett Pike. I posted 2 videos so far, and they are specifically on how to find the regulations. So you go to hslda.org, but at Real Brett Pike has videos step by step with pictures of the website, how to do it. So if you go to hslda.org, you'll click on the state map and the state you live, all the regulations will come up. Usually you just have to file a notice of intent to homeschool with your district, and then you want to wait until you get approval from the district. I know. If you don't want your child to be there, you're like, what? Why do I have to wait? Trust me, do it the right way. Dot your I's, cross your T's, because unfortunately, in this world, if your paperwork isn't right, they could give you a lot of trouble. But if your paperwork is above board, then you're situating yourself in an advantageous position. So, something to think about. South Carolina requires parents to have a high school diploma. Yes, some states do that. So if you don't have one, that could be difficult. But go to hslda.org and look at their homeschooling options, because in some states, you can get around that by bringing in a third-party educator. If you have a friend or something like that can help you, and you could actually get around that restriction. So you got to check that. Go to hslda.org. Glad we aren't. Yeah, Texas is so based. I mean, Texas is just great. Get comes to get Bears books. You are what you eat. Yes, I did write a book on nutrition called You Are What You Eat. And I have a second book coming out, You Are What You Eat Part 2, which is about the corruption of the food system, which I'm very excited about, which reminds me I need to pay my illustrator and get her started. I've just been busy and I keep getting sidetracked, so I need to go reach out to my illustrator and get her started. Okay. Oh, Melissa, I have lemon tree stuff to show you. It got better. It got better. The support of Homeschools Connected is the best. I think we have one of the best communities on the entire internet, honestly. I think we might have the best community on the internet. I love our group chats. I really do. All right. Oh, yeah, the promotion code Together expired. The new promotion code is Freedom, all lowercase, and it's $10 a month. You can get my books at www.classicallearner.com, and an awesome poster that my wife made. I'm very proud of her. It's a Bill of Rights poster. You can print it out. Not print it out. It's you order it. It's a nice poster, and you put it on your children's wall, and it actually has the first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights and kid-friendly pictures. My kids love the bear from Jekyll Island, and I hope they're learning about the banking system. Check out the free lesson plans I made that come with the books. I think I made a video to go with that, to go with the bear from Jekyll Island, which teaches all about, it really reinforces the lessons. I think I made a whole game that goes along with that, about a financial literacy game. So definitely check that out. ClassicalLearner.com, you'll see the free lesson plans. If you go to ClassicalLearner.com, Cubs to Bears books, and scroll down to the bottom of that page, you can find where to download the free lesson plans. And it goes without saying, I haven't said it yet, but I also have courses available. So I taught a course called Introduction to Propaganda, and I actually taught it using the Cubs to Bears children book series. Really good course. Children learn all about like how social shame is used to get people to give up their rights, how the media will show you a partial picture and build a lie around it, but if you see the full picture, you see that it's really not true. So I taught a whole course, Introduction to Propaganda, for elementary school and middle school level learners that all members of Homeschools Connected have access to. And I'm actually teaching a live course right now every Thursday at 10:30 a.m., Introduction to the Bill of Rights. And we're learning about the American Revolution and the Bill of Rights. And that class has been a lot of fun for me to teach because I have a degree in history education, but you go so long, you don't really think about these things. And like diving back into that history of our founding is really amazing. And I've had stages in my life where I've grown cynical over like America and like just there's so much corruption. But going back and seeing what the founders actually accomplished, like the Bill of Rights is one of the most powerful documents ever made. And it's we're very blessed. We're very blessed that we live in a country that we have the Bill of Rights. And yeah, blah, blah, blah. They don't respect it, I know. But the bottom line is we have it. And the high law of the land does say we have these rights, and we just have to learn how to properly protect them. And that's exciting because a lot of people, Americans we take it for granted. And a lot of people, like, they would love if their law had something that said, you know, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed, but they don't, right? So, like, that's a great starting place, and we could really build off of that. So, all stuff I'm really passionate about. We met another one of our community members last Thursday, and it was awesome. Oh, you guys had a meetup? Oh, how did the meetup go? Can you post about it in Homeschools Connected? I would love if you guys posted about it, or maybe posted some pictures. So yeah, one of the things we have in Homeschools Connected is we have state groups. So like we have a group for every state, you know. Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, California, Texas. And people go into their state groups. They say, hi, I'm from this part of the state. And people are actually starting to have meetups now. So very exciting. It was kind of my vision. But at first, when I made it, at first we had no members, right? So it was just a vision. But now we have a lot of members and people are actually having meetups. So super cool. I'm learning as much as the kids are. Thank you, Melissa. Families, not failures. Awesome. I can't wait to see the pictures. I'm really excited. So yeah, that's what's going on. So that's classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, promo code FREEDOM, all lowercase, $10 a month. I think I'm going to jump over to YouTube now, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I did with my boy this weekend, because we had a really cool weekend at some of the local churches. Not churches that I go to, just churches in the area that were having cool events for the children. Did you start the homesteading page? So no, I started, if everyone could go follow at Real Brett Pike, I started a new TikTok page called at Real Brett Pike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the ball rolling on that one, because at first I have no followers. Like, you post the videos and like they get shown to no one. But I'm going to get some momentum over the next few weeks. And then once I get some momentum on the first page at Real Brett Pike, I'm going to make another page which will be completely dedicated to homesteading. And then I'll start getting that page going. So I figured it's better with baby steps, because if I take on both pages at once, well, it's a lot. It's just a lot. Especially because also there's this another application called Clapper now. It's called Clapper that I recently started an account on. So I've been making videos for that. Which is actually very encouraging. It's actually a very cool site. So I've been doing that. But yeah, so I'll do the homesteading one, but soon. Say the name of the page again. At Real Brett Pike. And of course, my website is, that's my TikTok. So I have a TikTok called at Real Brett Pike. And my homeschool community can be found at www.classicallearner.com. Homeschool's Connected. Oh, what did I do here? Stop it. Stop it. Love what you are doing. Public school no longer teaches about the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Yeah, well, we're going to step in and fill the gap. So I love the classes that I'm teaching now, because I haven't really, thought about this stuff in a couple of years. And now, like, getting back into it and, like, going over all the history again to refresh my memory and learn new things, it's really cool. So say the name of the new page again. At Real Brett Pike. BRETT Pike. Pike, Brett Pike, Real Brett Pike. And that's TikTok. And Homeschools Connected at www.classicallearner.com. So, all right, TikTok, I'm going to jump over to the Classical Learner YouTube page. And I'm just going to talk to, really, it's just the members of my community over there, but everyone's welcome. I'm just going to talk to them a little bit about the weekend. And I had a really good weekend. And little bit about the weekend. We're probably going to go over the gardening. I want to show Melissa all right, I have lemon tree news that I can't tell you how excited I am about this. And there could be some mango news in the works, Allegedly, could it be? May someone have ripped open a mango and took the seed out and attempted to germinate it? We're talking mango trees, people. All right, guys, freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day. And I will undoubtedly be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern to earn it. Check Classical Learner YouTube page. I'll be over there. All right, let's give them the 10 count, because I think they're on a delay. I think TikTok is on a 10-second delay. Allegedly, could it be? 1, 2, 3. Oh, Melissa's showering me with morning nickels. The future is bright. And my mom is here, so I'm in a great mood. All right. Are we human? Are we dancers? All right. Enough with them. All right. All right, so we are now live solely on... got this new thing, but it's ripping the case off. Come on. Rip the whole thing off. All right, I'll deal with this situation a little bit. All right. All right. So, had a great weekend. On Saturday, we heard about 2 events at local churches. Really cool stuff. Not my churches, just different churches around the community. But 2 different churches had Easter egg hunts. So, we went to the first one, and there was like hundreds of children there. It was crazy big Easter egg hunt. It's amazing how many eggs they hid. And my boy was there. His best friend was there. And then a ton of other children were there. It was a great event. They did educational stuff for the children. They reenacted the resurrection of Jesus. So, they had like a big, whoever made this, it was really incredible. They had a gigantic, it looked like a mountain with a boulder in front of it. And they're explaining that Jesus was buried in a tomb, right? Whatever. And they put the boulder in front of it so that, he couldn't get out. And then 3 days later, they pushed the boulder to the side. And when they said that, it actually rolled to the side. And they're like, but Jesus wasn't there, right? So it was a really cool thing for the children. And so they learned all about that. They had free food for everyone. They had cupcakes for the kids. And then they had a big Easter egg hunt, and like there were hundreds of children, and every child, I mean, I don't, I'm guessing here, but every child must have had like 10 to 15 eggs that they found on their own, and there were hundreds of children there, so this is quite an operation they ran. But absolutely great event. Brady, his good friend, not gonna say her name, they had a blast. My daughter Aubrey was there. I was just putting her down to the ground, and she grabbed an egg or two. She had a great time. And yeah, I mean, community is so strong. Like it's so cool to be a part of the community and get involved in stuff. And we need to do more of that. Like always do community outreach, because community really is strength. And the last 2 years they tried to isolate everyone. I was talking to my mother. I'll get it to my mother, but when I picked her up at the airport, I was talking to my mom, and I was like, they really did an impressive psychological operation, because what they did is they didn't just take away everyone's rights. They told everyone that if they didn't take away the rights, then be careful how I word things, but the horrible things could happen to you, right? Be afraid, right? They used fear. So then you got like this large segment of the population which are terrified, versus the other segment of the population that said, well, what's going on with our rights, right? What about our rights? What about the Constitution? What about liberty? So it was the perfect formula to pin everyone against each other. Great divide and conquer tactics. I mean, I don't like the people, but I gotta say, in terms of psychological operations, I mean, gotta tip your cap, right? I mean, my God, what a good psychological operation. And now they're starting with the food, right? They're starting with the food. The chickens have the flu. And here they go. And all these people are going to eat it up. Oh, they're going to eat it. They're not going to be eating chicken. But they're going to eat up the nonsense. I organized the bear meetups here in New England, Northeast Ohio. Community is very important. We have a weekend-long Spring Fest planned in April. Yeah, I think I actually got invited to Ohio, but I'm already going to Pennsylvania in July because I'm helping them put together Crush Fest. So it's too much for me. I also, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it. There's another event. There's another Beartaria event that may or may not be happening later this year, but I don't think they've announced it yet. So just never mind. But they will announce it, and then a lot of bears will be going to that. So I got a call on it because they reached out to me for some stuff. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. As I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't talk about it. All right. I love it. I love Beartaria. A lot of what I've done with Homeschools Connected is very much modeled off of Beartaria, and I'm a member of Beartaria. In Beartaria, I'm Classical Learner Bear, and I consider Beartaria my nation. These are my people, and I love my people. I love my people, because I actually my mother, going right back to my mother, on the car ride home from the airport, she had ordered one of Beartaria released the Beartaria Times released a nationwide physical magazine, and I had written an article. For the magazine about homeschooling. And so my mom purchased a copy, and so I was in the car with her. She was like, "Brett, I was reading over the magazine, and the Bears are really impressive people." So I was like, "Oh yeah, the Bears are just the best people, the best people in the world." And I forgot where I was going with that originally, but the point is that Beartaria is really awesome, and I have a copy of the magazine, but I haven't opened it. I kind of just want to keep an original copy that's never been opened, so like 20 years from now, I think that'll be really cool. How do we find Beartaria? Yeah, if you go to the App Store and type in the Beartaria Times app, or the Beartaria Times, I think it's $15 for the year, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal app. You'll just see. It's like it's a group of people that, Melissa, you would get along with great, and they would love if you did your blog post on there. Which, by the way, I am adding. I told Nicole, I was like, I'm so bad I haven't added your blog. I am adding your blog to our. I'm going to make an RV section of our Homeschools Connected. But yeah, the Beartaria Times is very much like Homeschools Connected. It's a really great community of farmers and really good people, homesteaders, very moral people, very family-oriented people, very awake, although the rule in Beartaria, the Beartaria app, is there's no talking about conspiracy stuff or politics or anything. The rule is the good, true, and the beautiful. So anything that's not appropriate for a 5-year-old is a no-go on that app. So it's all just people posting about farming or RVing and traveling the country, right? Like, that would be a big hit on there. But yeah, I absolutely love the Bears, and that's why a lot of you have heard me speak about Owen Benjamin, who, if you did internet searches on him, right, they would tell you he's a really bad man, right? And they would take out little clips and tidbits of what he says, and he's a comedian, right? So like a lot of what he says comes off very controversial, but when you follow him for a long time, you realize there's no hatred in the man. It's not from a place of hate or anything like that. He's actually a very moral person. And the reason for that, and the reason I say that, is judge a person by their fruit, right? And their fruit could include a few things. Their fruit could include your children, right? Like, he has a great family. He has an amazing wife and great children. But your fruit is also what you produce in the world. And just look at what he's produced. Like, anyone who goes to the Beartaria Times app, look at what he has produced in this world. It is phenomenal. People that are really moral. Yeah, he's very inspiring, right? People that are very moral. People that take a lot of personal responsibility in their life. People that go out of their way to help one another. And then when I think about his own journey, this was a guy who was living in Hollywood, making $30,000 a night to do stand-up comedy, right? So this is a very cushy life, right? And he ultimately gave all of that up, right? He gave that all up because he took a stand to defend a child who he believed, and I also believe, was facing abuse from his father, right? And it went against the political agenda of the time, right? The political agenda of the time was, you don't question the whole, Caitlyn Jenner thing. But Owen, he did that. And because he did that, he went from making $30,000 a night to literally being back in upstate New York, cutting down trees for $15 an hour. And then, as it goes, he happens to be very charismatic. Owen is probably, I don't know how I could objectively quantify this, but he's probably one of the 5 most talented rhetoricians in the world. And because of that, and he's so charismatic, he was really, and his truth behind his message, he was very much able to claw his way out and really get a big following. And that was in spite of being banned from, he's hilarious, yeah. Being banned from anything. And like I said, like people, you might listen to Owen, like if you listen to Owen for one day, you might be like, oh, this guy's so hateful. Owen does not have an ounce of hate in his body. Like the stuff that you would think he's being hateful on, like he works these jokes over like years. He sets them up. And like, it's just, he's so hilarious, and he actually uses them to bridge divides, to actually bring people of different characteristics together. The Beartaria Times, B-E-A-R, Bear, T-A-R-I-A, Times, in the App Store. It should come up. So he actually uses these jokes to bridge people together and to cut through a lot of the political correctness. But for someone that just finds him, that could be jarring, right? That could be jarring. But I could tell you as being someone that has followed him for 5 or 6 years, right, that it would be hard pressed for me to find a person that I respect more than Owen Benjamin. So that's like, so a lot of what I've done with Classical Learner is very much based off of the path that Owen showed me you could walk, and how, he really got me into the mindset of, don't complain about the system, build something better, build something in logos, build something that's based in the good, the true, and the beautiful. And with Homeschools Connected, that's what I've tried to build, the good, the true, and the beautiful. And it's a place where people who are like-minded could come, and they could come together and they could really educate their children in a way that is in alignment with their worldview and their values. And, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what we're doing. Like, this is only my first year of curriculum development, and we're doing some really cool stuff already. And, we're going to continue it. So I love what we're doing. I'm very passionate about my work because of it. You guys know, because I really live this stuff. I breathe it. And, I'm just going to keep chugging away. I'm going to keep building. And hopefully our growth rates could continue to be what they've been. For anyone that's not a member, I don't know if anyone in here is not a member, but as we say in the Bear community, support what you like or it goes away. And I've been so fortunate to have people like Melissa, who are members of my community, who Melissa's RVing across America. No, I think he'd love it if you shared it on his blog. That's like, he would love if you shared Barteria on his blog. I mean, I don't speak for him, but that's a beautiful thing. You're showing people, hey, this is a place you can go, that this is an app you can get that is a really great place, a great community of people. So I really appreciate you. I really appreciate that you've shared Homeschools Connected on your blog. So anyway, now that I've done my passionate rant on my thoughts about Beartaria, as I said, my nation, let me take you guys to the garden, because I got something to show you. What you got? I got something to show you. I got 5. All right. Hey, Lucy. You are so beautiful, Lucy. Show yourself to the people. Hey, come here. Don't run away. Come here. Is she majestic? It's my girl. It's my girl. Love you, Lulu. Love that dog. She's so beautiful, just prancing around. Yes, and don't be upset if he doesn't answer. He just, he gets a crazy, like I get a crazy amount of inquiries a day. Like the number of notifications I get a day are like insane. And I could only imagine what he gets. So, first order of business, the peach tree. I moved it into a bigger bucket. And by the way, this is a laundry basket that I found. So rather than getting a gardening pot, which were probably for that size about $50, we got this for $17 a basket. So that's a little trick you can do. This is a peach tree. And as you can see, there's little baby peaches. Try to give you some contrast maybe. Little baby peaches. So if you've never seen a baby peach, and I have them growing on both trees. So this was the pot it came in. I have to switch the other one over. I had to pick up more dirt, so I couldn't switch it. The dirt I've been using is organic Daddy Pete's Plant Pleaser, Pete's Potting Mix, and the ingredients are aged pine bark fines, composted cow manure, perlite, vermiculite, which I don't know what those are, by the way, and dolomitic lime. I don't know what those other two are, but I should probably learn that, shouldn't I? So we got a lemon tree here, looking good. It's almost 90 degrees in the greenhouse. Our tomato plants, getting pretty big. These are actually watermelon. Watermelon plants. Tomatoes. So Melissa, ready? I planted a lemon seed. I was in the house. I ate a lemon. I took one of the seeds out, peeled it open, and I germinated it. You don't do it in the dirt. You have to do it with, you take a damp paper towel. You wrap the damp paper towel around the seed, the lemon seed. You put it in a Ziploc bag, and you put it in the closet where it's dark. You wait a week, and it germinates. Well, anyway, it germinated, and I put it in the dirt, and look what popped up yesterday. That, my friends, is a lemon tree. Yeah! Lemon tree. So we got eggplants. The avocado seed. Still nothing. Yes, wet paper towel. You have to keep it in a dark place. So like your pantry is a good place. I don't know if this seed's going to sprout. I got to look up if it's already been too long. I don't think so. I think it will still sprout. But I don't know if I've been exposing it to too much sunlight. So if that doesn't work, I'm going to plant more of them anyway. Nicole put up this beautiful trellis. This is bush beans, snap peas, growing beans, climbing beans, carrots. These only grow 1 carrot each, so that's not that exciting, but we wanted to try to grow carrots for experience. Cucumbers. And these are going to go up and all the way around. And then I had put a shade cloth here because my avocado tree was struggling. It's been a real struggle with the avocado tree, but you can see it's looking better. I pruned it. It's looking better. It had started to get some of that dark growth, that blackening, which is not good. So I think what I found was once I got the shade cloth on it, I then had to start watering it more. So I reduced the sun. I watered it more, and it's been doing a lot better. The leaves are a lot sturdier. It just feels healthier. So I think I'm finally... I also added banana fertilizer. So I took banana peels, I put them in water, let it sit for a few days, and I've been using that as a fertilizer, and it's been helping the avocado tree. I think I'm going to use coffee grinds. Because coffee grinds actually, they not only add nutrients to the soil, but they also lower the pH level of the soil, which the avocado trees, they actually thrive. They do better in lower pH levels in soil. So these are leafy greens. And I'm probably going to plant this week about 12 more lettuce seeds. That's basil. Which, by the way, we did not pay $21.95 for basil. That was a container with something else in it originally. But we transferred whatever that was into something else, and we put the basil in there. So don't pay $21 for a basil sprout. This is our clementine tree. And as you can see, we actually have a clementine growing, although it hasn't gotten bigger, which I'm a little concerned about. And I'm also concerned about, you can see the flowers on the top. They look like they're having a little bit of a hard time, a little browning. I don't think that's how they're supposed to look. Like here, they're white, right? So I started watering them more. I'm going to see what that does. And I also added the banana fertilizer. And we have aloe. We have, these are grapes. I have to get them a permanent home. Another lemon tree. This is recovering a little bit. Raspberry, which was struggling. It's actually starting to grow a little bit, which is good. Then we have zucchini. Red peppers, or tricolor peppers. Zucchini. I think I want to plant more eggplants and peppers. Then we have a cherry tree, which I desperately need to transfer. I need to go get more dirt. Good. I was a bit nervous at that moment that you did that. That I did what? What did I do? Clementines. There's the cherry tree. This is leafy greens, and this is... What is this? I think Nicole did this. What did she do here? I'm not sure what she did here. She told me what she did here, but I'm forgetting. What kind of plant are you? What are you? All right. And then I have... Oh, Nicole wanted me to show you guys this. This is kamut flower. So Nicole put about 200 seeds in here, and we're going to see what happens. And then she planted some strawberries in here. And that's it. That's all she wrote, folks. So that's what we got going on. Oh, that I spent that much. Yeah. That's, no way. Definitely not spending $21 on a basil plant. I've grown basil for years. I really love basil because Nicole makes it into a pesto sauce. I know, I'm the worst. You're like, Brett, you don't know what it is because you haven't labeled it. I'm trying to train my mind to identify the plants without the labels. Until Thursday, and I am very, very excited about it. I want to go show her the homestead. I got to go show her everything, and yeah, life is good right now. So, all right, guys, help spread the word, and I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Also, I will be posting the nature unit study lesson for the week tomorrow, and I posted the replay of the Bill of Rights class this morning, so you should be able to see that. All right, guys, it's been lots of fun, but I've got to run. Been lots of fun, but I've got to run. Got to run.